Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now, does this finally settle the debate? Who is the greatest live action Spider-Man of all time? Look, Brand New Day puts Tom Holland in another category of his own. I mean, this dude has now been in 4 consecutive movies that the numbers don't lie. People love these movies. People love his version of the character. But is it the definitive version of the character? That's interesting. It's open for discussion, and I feel like it's one of those questions that's generational. It boils down to who you have been exposed to first. Who is your Peter Parker? Now, let's dive in, guys. The first one I want to talk about is Tobey Maguire. That's my introduction. I'm giving a little bit of my age away, but that's okay. We're all grown-ups here. So, back in 2002, Sam Raimi delivered Spider-Man. And, when it comes to Tobey Maguire, one thing I loved about his version of the character is that he brought a certain level of maturity and emotional depth to the character that I feel makes his version of the character Peter Parker. When it comes to Peter Parker, his portrayal of Peter Parker is actually much better than his Spider-Man portrayal. I feel like in actual fact, he was too old for the role. That's my opinion. I've always pictured Spider-Man as being a young person, high school. And then I feel like he grew up too fast by the time we got to Spider-Man 2. But that's another story. And then we also have Andrew Garfield, another person that's too old for the character, but that's just my opinion as well. But then when it comes to, he's the most likable out of the bunch. Everybody has a soft spot for Andrew Garfield's version of the character because, there was just something to latch on when it came to his character. And I feel like when it comes to Peter, he was okay in some of the scenes as Peter Parker, but then he delivered as Spider-Man. The comedic timing was on point. Every time this guy had the suit on, he just delivered epic lines. And I feel like, to me personally, he is the greatest version of the character in terms of live action. That's just my personal opinion. He did deserve a third movie. If there's one thing that I hope happens, is that he gets his third The Amazing Spider-Man movie. Let's see if that happens, but that is my biggest wish. I know we appeared in No Way Home, but we need a character to have a complete arc, and we haven't seen that yet. And we get to Tom Holland. Tom Holland, I have so much respect for Tom Holland because he dived into the version of the character that was at the time in the shadows of the juggernaut that is the MCU. I mean, he stepped in. He made his first appearance in Civil War, if you guys remember that, which was a great movie. But then the pressure was on. Could he deliver on his own? And then we got Homecoming. I really enjoyed Homecoming. I actually think Homecoming might be my favorite. But I feel like the presence of Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man was a little bit too much for me. I never fully connected with, the technology when it came to the suit. And I love the trilogy, don't get me wrong, guys. No Way Home is my favorite, but it leans a little too much into the fan service. And that was a weird time for the MCU. And that was actually a standout movie for the MCU. But then we get to Brand New Day. Guys, I'm not going to go into details when it comes to Brand New Day. I'm not going to spoil anything, guys. But Brand New Day might confirm that this guy is the one. And I feel like he's finally been put in a role of this character that suits a more mature version of the character. And we can connect with the character in a different way. And I feel like this just puts him in his own category. Now, I'm not the type of person that, I don't like to make comparisons and that, but then this is definitely up for debate, guys. Like, this puts him This might put him at number one. You know, I still love Andrew, but this might have just taken Tom that step, you know, further, because the movie is great. The movie is fantastic. It delivers. You can tell that, you know, it's a collaboration between the actor and the director as to, you know, they listen to what fans would like to see on the big screen, and they delivered on that. But that's the debate for me, guys. Does this now confirm that Tom is the greatest, or is it still up for debate? Let me know down below in the comment section, guys. That's something to talk about. Please let me know. Catch you guys on the next video.